it was, but it at least was. You could tell this was like one guy's movie, right? And Justice League, the theatrical cut, was not one person's movie. It was one person, and then the whole thing was what his
His
daughter died or
daughter,
something
yeah,
like that,
suicide.
and so he left the project. And instead of finishing, they brought in Marvel guy who did
Joss Whedon, who's
Joss Whedon,
famous
who
for
did
Buffy and Avengers:
yeah
Age of Ultron. I think the original Avengers as well.
the original Avengers. Yeah, Avengers: Age of Ultron sucked, but
Hmm.
um, so they brought him in to kind of Avenger it up to make it like that, and it's this weirdly toned, colorful things just don't seem right. Even if you watch it, you can tell. You can just look at certain scenes and see that how they had to do so many reshoots.
Hmm.
And like actors are in different places, or sometimes they couldn't even get the same actor. If you like really look at it, you can. It's not
Oh
even
yeah,
that hard to see. So as a film, it's stupid. And then second, you can tell that there was some changes in terms of like the tone.
yeah. The tone definitely feels a
Like
lot.
some tone, it's all over the place. Like sometimes it's really dark, and then other times it's like super. It's like cheerful and stupid jokes and stuff, like you would see in an Avengers movie.
I'll tell you one thing. The one thing that the original Justice League made me aware of is how much I don't like Ezra Miller as the Flash. I think
Um,
he was so unpainfully funny that it was almost awkward because originally when I saw the Flash, I seen some of his scenes in the commercials. I thought Ezra Miller would make like an awesome, funny Flash. Like he looked like he would just be on top of it. But for some reason, during the Justice League movie, I was just like, this guy isn't really funny. Like, for example, the scene where they're on top of the building where Commissioner Gordon is, and then everyone kind of leaves, and he's the only one standing there in front of Commissioner Gordon. And he says, "Oh, they all left. Oh, that was rude." And then I'm like,
I
is
mean,
that? So,
I don't know if that's Ezra Miller or if that's the script.
I don't know either. I don't. Well, whatever the case is, the performance is just bad, and some of I don't know. I just am not feeling him as the script. At
He's all
least the
right.
script.
I don't
As
know. I think
Flash.
it's more of the script
Well, I don't know, but
because
I think it might be him. But I don't. I think he just whatever.
because
'Cause I
like
feel like he also heard too that he put a lot of input in his character as well. So the way
I
his
don't think
character
any.
talks and everything in Agent
Yeah, he
Ghost. So
did.
so that's why I'm
He,
like, okay, I kind of put it to
he has
blame
a lot of
early on him.
quick
And
talking.
yeah,
I don't know.
and I don't think
I
his script
didn't.
talking really worked for him. I don't think that he's very. It was very annoying.
I didn't find him annoying. I didn't really. I didn't get it when I watched the original one. Like I knew what they were like. He was supposed to be comic relief, and I think it's hard. I think Marvel has gotten it pretty well, and I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I didn't really care. He didn't. He didn't. I wasn't like, oh my god, he's the best Flash because he's not. The CW Flash guy is pretty good. I
Yeah.
like that. That was, there was a episode of that where they like crossed paths.
Yeah, I did see that one. I
I
didn't
didn't.
see. I haven't. I'm not caught up in like
I'm only on
the.
season like 3 of the Flash, but I saw that, and I'm curious just to see how that went
Yeah,
because
I did see that. So that's the only thing I spoiled myself with because I'm like I wanted to see how that worked, and
worked
it
right.
was kind of cool actually. I think it was a nice
Yeah, I think
little gratitude meeting or whatever
the
whatnot.
CW does. They do all right with their
They're superheroes. I mean, yeah,
Arrowverse universe, whatever
yeah.
it is.
I think they did pretty good, even though they kind of turned them into like Dawson's Creek with
I
superheroes.
mean, that's the minute.
It,
The minute you watch any of them, you're like, yeah, because everybody's super hot.
yeah.
All the actors are super attractive. Like
And there's always a
every
love
single
triangle
one.
here and there. I mean, I know these
Yeah,
are kind of like prerequisites of
but that's
TV,
what happens
but
when you have 18 episodes. You gotta fill, right? Yeah,
yeah,
you gotta
that's
fill it
true.
with garbage sometimes.
Yeah,
But the first season of The Flash was really good. Like
yeah,
really
I
good.
loved it. Yeah,
Um, I fell off after like the third season or something
yeah. I
like
think
that.
maybe the fifth season kind of fell off. I think,
But I heard it's back, and I heard it's pretty good.
yeah, I think it's back. I don't know if it's his final season, but I know.
No, it's not final. I know
Yeah,
it's just in this
I wouldn't be
latest
surprised
season.
if it's like in the next 1 year or two, it's probably over. 'Cause I feel like a lot
Yeah,
of
because
CW
it's been
shows are
eight
kind of
years, and I think like
a lot of
I think at
actors
this
probably
point, yeah, the actors want to get on. Like,
exactly. I feel like after a while, it's like okay, this
yeah,
great a gravy train, but
thank God, yeah, we got this far. Let's move on. So the Snyder Cut is 4 hours. It's a very long movie.
Mm-hmm.
I think the issues, if I had to, because I read two very different reviews from professional site. IGN gave it like
Mm-hmm.
an 8.5 or something, like an 8 out
Mm-hmm.
of 10. They liked it. And they gave, and GameSpot, which now does movie reviews and stuff, gave it a 4. Um, I wouldn't give it a 4. I sat and watched 4 hours of it, so I was engaged at least to that extent. It's a little, sometimes in the beginning I was kind of like, oh, this is gonna be a long movie. Like that's what it kind of felt like. But part of it was like a game. I was trying to see what was changed and what's new.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, for reference sake, after I was done with the movie, the ending part, I went and rewatched the ending of the original. And a lot, like, of course, some of the footage is the same, but even like when they talk about cut, like they really cut it into different places, like, and it makes more like, oh god, it's really, I'll tell you this, it
Mm-hmm.
makes, if you want a good way to put it is, I think it makes the original theatrical cut unwatchable in terms
Wow,
of
that's
it's
strong.
so much better. I think that what they put together is so much better. However, I will say the caveat is I'm not sure if it's so much better because they've had time to see what didn't work
Mm-hmm.
and put it into this cut. Like this, to me, this can't be the original cut that he envisioned, right?
I
I feel like this
mean,
is part of a reactionary cut. Like it's like, okay, the I think the style and tone of it is, but like of course there's a lot of things added because his original movie wasn't going to be 4 hours.
mm-hmm.
There's a lot of stuff added, and you can kind of tell where they are. They're kind of in the beginning, and some of the villain things you know weren't there before. Uh, and I don't know how much you know of spoilers. I mean, they show it in some of this advertisement, but anyway.
Well, you know what? I would say this. I think what we should do, because I really want to discuss this with you and then talk about like the creative changes and everything. I think we should do a separate podcast where we talk about this.
Yeah,
I'll
we
watch
could.
I'll watch this probably over the weekend, and then if you're free,
Nope, won't be free. I got a busy weekend, but maybe
mm-hmm.
sometime next week.
Next week. All right, sounds like a plan.
Wait, but it's fresh in my head. I have to talk something. So without like, I just think that it's definitely a movie like I'd recommend if you saw the original and thought it was like all right. Then I feel like you'll like this. I can't see anybody. I think the original was not good, but I can't see anybody if they even like that a little bit not loving this one.
Mm-hmm.
Like it does things um pretty much. It just gives it kind of like you could tell like none of the main actors really I think came back. Maybe one did came back and did extra footage. So there's a lot of stuff that got cut because I'm watching and I'm like, oh okay, oh well, this a lot of this has been cut out.
Wow.
And I think they did they if I'll say one really good thing, I think they made Cyborg feel like a necessity. Like he really feels like a character now. In the other movie, he really didn't seem like anything. He seemed like he was there, and then like you almost like
They didn't know what to do
okay,
with him.
he had to do something with the MacGuffin at the end,
Mm-hmm.
but really like you would almost don't even notice him being there. This movie does a really good job of making him feel integral to that team, which I really like.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and it's Zack Snyder, so everything's dark and gritty. Some scenes feel like 300 all over again, like that kind of stuff. Like it's like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but overall, it's good. It's good enough that I'm sad that I heard like that universe is like gonna be rebooted anyway,
Yeah,
like
because Zack
reboot
Snyder
Flash.
said that he's not making any more DC
Right.
movies.
So I was kind of like, how like the original Justice League had like a end credit scene and all more stuff.
Yeah, with
So
Deathstroke and Lex Luthor.
yeah, they kind of like expand on that a little bit, which you can kind of. I for once I was interested in seeing another movie from this universe for
Mm-hmm.
once. Like most of the time I'm not, but I feel like maybe they struck out so much. Like now they kind of are getting it. Like I heard like this. I didn't see the new Shazam, but I heard that was good.
Yeah, it was actually pretty good.
Yeah, so I think like they, I
I mean,
feel like they'll get the next Suicide Squad that's coming out. They might get that right.
I mean, to tell you the truth, I think with with WB or the DCEU movies, I think what they're learning is that when they do their own thing without having to feel like they have to like
They can't be
Marvelize
Marvel.
everything,
Yeah.
they do a lot better. Like Shazam was like its own independent movie, but it has still have references to the DCU where you know that there's Batman that exists, Superman, but it's still focused on its story. And it didn't seem like, even though it was, there's actually obviously room for a sequel, which there is going to be, it didn't feel like, watching the movie like, okay, this wasn't a complete story in itself. You know what I mean? Or they didn't try to have so many like different things. Like, how Marvel used to plant little seeds of the next movies within other movies, not just with the end credit scenes, but just with other things. Like they'll show like Captain America's shield and like Hulk, or they'll do the little Easter eggs. I didn't feel like there was that much in Shazam. Maybe I missed it, but personally, I didn't really see anything, except for that one villain or whatever. But I feel like when they do things on their own, I feel like they do much better. And I hope, it's kind of sad that they're kind of like they really have to kind of like reboot the whole entire series. And with Wonder Woman not performing as they imagined it would, the reception was really bad.
What are they imagining it would do?
I mean, I think they thought Wonder Woman would be, would be received a lot better. I don't know, like
critically.
Critically, it didn't do good at all. I don't know. I think it did pretty well for HBO Max
because everybody had that Max deal, so I thought like that's all like they cared about. Like,
yeah, they cared about too, but then also
they're already making a third one, so
yeah. I mean, they're making a third one. But, critical reception is important as well because the way people view it is also important to the overall franchise. You know what I mean? Because if people are saying that sucks, or that it was terrible, and I thought it was just okay as well. I thought it was, there were some things that were kind of off to me, but at the same time too, I did like certain aspects of it. But
I'm trying to think.
Did you?
I turned it on,
mm-hmm.
and I didn't get through 25 minutes of it.
Really, you never watched the whole movie?
I couldn't even get through the first Wonder Woman.
Oh yeah, you're weird. Yo,
I'm not weird. I just didn't like it. No, and I tried to watch it 2 times.
I thought you would like something like Wonder Woman, though. I thought
no, not even a little bit. I didn't like Wonder Woman. Even
I could see. Honestly, I could see you not liking the sequel, but I think Wonder Woman Part 1 would be right up your alley.
No, not at all. Not to say that like I just honestly, come on, camera.
Turn a little bit.
You can give me time with this.
I'm not rushing.
You know what I'm saying, man? All right, so Wonder Woman, the first one was I could wait, but before that, the DC thing, like the first movie obviously was Man of Steel, which which I thought was fine. It didn't critically. People said, "Oh, it's miserable. It's a dark Superman's supposed to be happy." Blah blah blah. I was like, "It's fine." I didn't think so. Oh my God, he's destroying all the buildings. Like, I don't care.
Yeah, I didn't think about that because
I'm not thinking about. Oh my God, look at the damage he's doing. This is not Superman.
I feel like what it is. Here's the thing. I think a lot of people when they think of Superman, Christopher Reeves is definitely on top of everyone's list as like the holy grail of Superman. And he's even one of my first Superman I seen. So I think they're expecting like a Superman that's I'll say this. I feel like because I think they were trying to be very realistic because if you have 2 powerful beings duking it out in the air, there's obviously gonna be some damage. Superman can't save everything at the same time. There's gonna be some collateral damage, and to me, it only makes sense, especially if it's for his first time fighting these guys. You know what I mean? Like, and we watch these kind of scenes all the time. Like, it's almost honestly, Man of Steel is almost like Dragon Ball Z live action, like the closest we got to a live action Dragon Ball Z in terms of fighting scenes. And when you see them fight, things are just being destroyed all over because they're powerful. You know what I mean? So I feel like that was nitpicking on the part of fans, or not even fans, but I feel like on the part of people looking for things to pick on the DC.
I mean, they just went on like, he killed Zod. Superman never kills. There was so much of this like, all right, okay, and I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever. I didn't care. I thought it was. I watched it. I was into it. The fight at the end I thought was pretty cool, and that was it. It's not like the next one, right? The next one, I think universally, just Batman v Superman. There's just
I think
levels of stupidity in it and just boring and bad. Like the fight was like all the way at the end, obviously, but it was like 8 minutes long, and then not even just but just the characters, the plot. But what I want to get into really quick about that is when you said like the Marvel stuff, is the next two movies to me really did that, which was Justice League and Suicide Squad, where they had to do so many reshoots because, oh my God, Guardians of the Galaxy was this cool movie with 5 characters, and it had all this kind of cool 70s music in it, and it was had style, it was colorful. So then they did Suicide Squad. Like, I want to see what the original Suicide Squad was, because I'm not saying it'll be good, but that the you could tell they did so much to that Suicide Squad movie, like that they tried to make it like the soundtrack. You hear the soundtrack? Like one scene you got. Hey,
it was this is what it this that's
what.
Yeah,
what
like
every
song you would hear like at a Kmart or something like that.
Yeah, and it's like someone I was like, and the movie didn't look very good either. I don't know. And then Justice League, they literally getting Josh Whedon was literally them trying to make it into like that. So I think they are better off when they just know to do it. Just do it. Just let the director just do whatever they're gonna do. Let it be that. Don't try to imitate them, because you're just not.
I think at this point, a lot of studios are kind of learning that, because when Marvel started making that money, everybody was wanting to do their own universe. Like I think we spoke about it before. They, Universal wanted to have their Monsters universe.
Monsters universe.
And they were really, and they went hard. They planned out everything. It's like, how
Mummy,
sometimes kids,
Frankenstein.
They were, sometimes when you're a kid, you want to write a story or something like that, and you're just planning everything out. You're not even writing the story, but you're just doing all these like phases and all these things without even writing the actual substance to it. But they're telling you, they were trying to plan out everything. Like after the Mummy, we're gonna have the vampire, this, that, blah, blah. And then the Mummy came out, and it was just like,
pretty much killed it.
I was just like, okay, we don't need this movie.
The Invisible Man part of that? Did that count?
I don't even know. Man? I don't think so. I mean, I'm not really sure, but
because I know that's like one of their monsters, right? The Invisible Man is one of those.
I mean, they had one recently, right? With
they had a recent one, which I heard was not actually that bad. And
I don't think it's part of the universe, though. Yeah, Dark Universe. That's what I call it. Dark Universe, right?
The Dark Universe. Jeez.
And then that movie also too. I remember watching The Mummy. That movie was full of so many. Remember the things I talked about with Shazam, like how they didn't have like a whole bunch of stuff leading up to later movies, kind of like what they did with like the Amazing Spider-Man 2. The Mummy was full of that. Like they were showing you, like who was Russell Crowe.
He meets
Russell Crowe was Jekyll, and then they're showing you like all these monsters and like there's like one scene.
It's like that kind of Batman v Superman scene.
Yeah, it's like, all right, guys, we're gonna freeze the whole movie, and we're gonna show you all of these superheroes coming up soon.
And this is where you got to think of logic, because when he did that in that Batman, they all had logos.
They had logos already. They had the branding.
So Batman was like,
logos already.
I'm gonna make these logos, even though I don't know the Flash, but it's a lightning bolt. And oh my God.
Like they couldn't even make it look like like kind of like raw, something raw or something like it's kind of like Russian.
Yeah.
He just made the nice clean logo that he used on all the marketing material.
Hey, pay attention, guys! These movies are coming too.
Listen, I think Batman would definitely have a career in marketing. This guy knows how to market himself very well, and other superheroes. So this guy, Bruce Wayne, should definitely look into that. But the Dark Universe, or the Mummy, I should say, was full of that stuff. Like you can just feel like the movie was just like, don't worry, guys, there's more coming. This stuff's gonna pay off in the future, and it was just like, man, too much. And I feel like too many movies were doing that. Like I felt like it worked for Marvel, but like movies like The Amazing Spider-Man, where You just see all these like the Sinister
Yeah,
Six.
Sony they wanted
Yeah.
to run that license into the ground, so they're like, whatever Spider-Man things you can do it.
I mean, they're actually still doing it though. I mean, they're coming out with like the Mobius movie. Morbius. I said Morbius movie.
Yeah.
What else? And
which 9 out of 10 people ain't gonna know who this character is. Like,
yeah. And I mean, they did pretty successful with Venom. Which I'm
but
actually
everybody
surprised.
knows who Venom. People
everyone knows
who
Venom is.
is.
I'm actually surprised Venom did a great in a solo movie. Like, I was actually like really surprised.
Well, it didn't review well, but I think didn't it?
It didn't. A lot of critics didn't like it, but I think overall the audience reception was like it's a decent movie. It's okay. It's pop. Like, you have to. I feel like that movie it is. It's like a movie you turn off your brain and you just watch it for entertainment. And I feel like sometimes we have those kind of movies, and there's so many critics who feel like every movie needs to be like The Dark Knight, and that's not true. I feel like sometimes you need like kind of stupid popcorn action movies.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's true, but at the same time, some movies like sometimes you think not that. I just feel like that shouldn't be an excuse for a movie to be bad. Just throw around a bunch of great action and do everything around it. Like, no,
I think some movies can be just decent. Like, it may not blow you away. It may be like, okay, it's serviceable, but it's still entertaining enough to watch, as a lazy watch or whatever like that. I think sometimes that's fine. I don't need, I think
no, you don't need a Citizen Kane every movie.
I think I can tolerate as long as it kind of like, even if it's silly, as long as the silliness kind of makes sense in a way in its own world, like it's kind of consistent with what it's bringing. Like, for example, the Fast and the Furious movies, they're the dumbest movies in the world. But I love them so much because they're just always like doing these crazy stunts. They have like these silly like these.
Well, see, I differ.
And then in their world, they take everything so seriously. So you're watching these grown ass people drive through buildings, and then they're taking it seriously. And at the end they have a barbecue, and they're all calling each other family. It's like it's silly, but I like that. They know it's kind of silly in a way, but it's still.
I would agree with you, except that after the fifth movie, where I enjoyed the fifth one because it was like it was so insane with the bank. Then it was like, okay, now we just need to up the level of insanity.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't we go see the sixth one together?
Yeah, we did. Remember, we watched the scene.
It was the moment when the
tank with this car.
When the tank stops and he flies in the air in the middle and catches her and like all her. Okay, and then he lands safely.
That's when Fast and Furious changed forever.
That's when I was like, they're like Marvel superheroes. They're characters.
They really were.
And what that did for me, which is why the only reason I kind of enjoyed 7 was because the guy died, and so they had that kind of like. But between 6 to 8, I was like, no, these guys are immortal. So I don't have like. It would be shocking to me when one of them dies. So I'm watching like, oh, Dom's car rolls 50 times off a cliff. He's gonna be all right. And so to me, even in a bad movie, you have to create some tension. So even in Fast 8, even with the baby being in the sky and the flying with the baby and they're riding on ice, no tension for me because I'm like, nothing's gonna happen. These guys are gonna get through this. So even watching this new movie, there's tension. It's you got to create something like that at least in an action movie. You have to feel some kind of threat. So those like every Fast Pass, because I saw 1, I saw 2, I actually saw 2. Saw some of Tokyo Drift. I didn't see 4, but I saw 5, 6, 7, 8. And definitely after 5, after that scene, it was really that one scene that really took it to the, even when someone dies, it's never going to be the main character, really. It's not going to be like Dom going evil in Fast 8. Yeah. Oh, okay. You think he's really? No. Like, well, I don't know.
I mean, I definitely feel like with the Fast and Furious franchise, they definitely shifted. They should. I mean, I think that's what we're all waiting for.
That's what they said, right? The next one. And then they show.
They're probably going to be drifting on like, what is it, Saturn's rings?
I guess I'm interested in the 9th movie because the Asian guy's in it.
Yeah, Han is
so
back.
Either they figured out how to revive people from the dead.
Listen, there's gonna be some stupid reason. I feel like
I hope so. Like Statham was really a good guy, didn't kill him.
Fast and the Furious means Back to the Future.
Oh God. You know what? I'm in for it. Because then now I don't know what to expect.
Because imagine if you have Michael J. Fox and what's his name? What guy who plays Doc Brown back? I mean,
you don't even need that. Just have Vin Diesel. He was racing and he drove so fast that he went back in time, right to the point where the guy dies. He stops. He comes right in front of Jason Statham and he's like, family, and just picks up this guy and goes back into the future.
Yeah, probably.
Oh my God.
But what I was gonna say is like it's funny with the Fast and Furious franchise how like it initially started as like this street racing thing, and it was really focused on that culture, and it focused on it so much. Like, I actually got into street racing for a little bit, not really, but into like knowing about the culture because those movies were so like so dope. Especially when I was like a teenager.
The first one's fine, but the second one wasn't. I would never.
The second one was all right to me. Actually,
we very different.
I mean, you know what it is? I saw the second one a lot more, so that's probably why I probably have more of an attachment to it. Because I saw the first one time, and then I think the second one, I had on DVD for a while, so I was watching it like consistently, and I think
I saw them all out of order. Like the first one I saw was 5, actually. That's the first one I saw. Okay. 5, 6, and then I was like, I kind of like this series, even though the 6th one was a little weird, crazy. So I was like, let me go watch the other ones, and then I saw 2 like not too long ago, and I was like, because what's weird about it is who's the black guy? What's his Ronan?
Tyrese.
Roman? Yeah, Tyrese. How his character is in Too Fast, Too Furious, and how his character is in 5, where it's like, I mean, you can no longer be Vin Diesel's replacement. You have to now be this new.
Exactly. You have to be the movie black guy.
Yeah.
Damn. Literally. What the hell?
I was like, shit. So when you go back and you watching, if you watched all these new ones and you go back and watch 2, you're like, he's not saying anything funny.
Exactly.
He's acting mad serious.
The tough guy. He was supposed to be like the
tough guy. He's literally Vin Diesel's replacement. Yeah, that's literally, and it's just so jarring to say. I'm like, this is the same. Like Ludacris is kind of the same.
I mean he's a little bit different. I felt like in part 2, wasn't more like the street savvy guy who knew like the connection.
Yeah, he wasn't such.
Then they made him
computer
to like the brainiac guy. I mean, he could have been a computer genius then. I'm not saying that, but it didn't show that. They just showed him like
he couldn't have been.
He wasn't. They just made him that. They're like, okay,
they made
already
him
have a black guy already, so you're gonna be the smart black guy.
That was that was the weirdest thing about that movie. I was like,
every personality is different. Yeah, I felt like, all right. So part 5 was when I saw it, I definitely felt like a lot of stuff was contrived to fit like archetypes, but I think
that's the one everybody told me to see. Like,
because it was like almost like a crossover because it's like
that's when they made it like an adventure-ish movie, like
it was like a heist
thriller,
movie, also like a heist crossover movie because you had like a lot of these characters who never met before, Vin Diesel and Ryan. It was like in part 1, and then
Ocean's 11.
Vin Diesel wasn't in part 1. Tyrese. Part 3 had the guy from Tokyo, had Han from Tokyo Drift, and part 4 I don't even know who it had. I think it had the original cast, but it was like kind of like
part 4 was like kind of a return to,
and then
except that they didn't have Letty.
Yeah, because Letty died, right?
Letty dies in that one.
Yeah, supposedly. Yeah. See, no one dies. It's pretty much a comic book movie, but it was kind of like part 5 was kind of like the big event when everyone comes together, and it was kind of dope to see everyone interact. But they definitely changed their personalities to kind of like fit into like a team format so that everyone has their role. And then part 5 had some silliness though, because I remember they were driving the cars and they had like they were driving they were dragging like these safes. Remember when they're driving the safes with their cars?
Obviously the law of physics.
You know what I mean? Like,
friction doesn't matter how heavy that I mean how fast your car or strong it is, you're not pulling
as long as you have a tank of NOS, you can do anything.
And the safe was the thing was like it was on ice.
It was on ice, like sliding across the
taking out cops and stuff with it.
Yeah, it was
great.
But
10 out of 10. Great movie.
It was funny and silly. So what else? Because
now that's the movie watch. Justice League. Go see it. Go see the Snyder Cut, and then go watch the original just to see. How like did you see they redesigned like the Steppenwolf?
I didn't see the redesign, or I don't recall the redesign.
All right. Well, I went back after watching and watched the original design, and I don't know if it was like I didn't care or whatever, but when I watched the first movie's Steppenwolf, it's one of the ugliest CGI things I've ever seen. It looks terrible. And maybe it's because I was just watching the new one, which looks really good.
Mm-hmm.
But this old one looked like he didn't even look like imposing. You know what I mean? Like this one actually, but
yeah, kind of reminds me of that end of the bad guy in Wonder Woman. Like he was like this basically like this British guy in armor. And
I didn't get that far. Yeah.
Well, I'll not to spoil.
I'm not. Yeah, go ahead. Spoil. I don't care.
So basically, he was like this guy in armor. I think it was like Ares or something like that. And he had like this British, like you ever seen who's a good example that I can use? You never seen the Wild Thornberrys, have you?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Like that guy with the mustache. Yeah, so he's like this British guy with his nose and this mustache, and basically he has this big ass like God of War armor, and you see his face through the helmet, and you just see this like nose and this mustache there, and his whole like face, and it just looks so not intimidating. I'm just like, you couldn't like cover up his face or something like that. You have to like keep his face out. Like why? This looks kind of silly. You know what I mean? It's like seeing like somebody's grandmother in like a hulking armor, and it's like I'm gonna get you. And it's like, all right, that's it's not really scary. But what I want to talk about too. I finally saw Coming to America.
Oh, what'd you think? A lot of people, I'm reading like, okay.
I'll tell you this. I think it's okay. Because I had recently seen the first one. Because remember, I didn't grow up, as I mentioned before, I didn't grow up watching the first movie. Like it wasn't something I grew up with. I had to watch it a couple of years ago, actually. And I rewatched it recently. And I actually rewatched part one recently, and I actually have a better appreciation of part one.
It's really good.
The part was
funny
really
as hell.
And I think what's crazy. You know how it's
so rated funny. R.
It's funny, but it's not in a way where it's like it's everything silly. It's like if everything feels structured, everything has its like its moment.
It feels real.
Yeah,
it feels genuine.
Like it's really funny. It's not like you have to do something stupid, and outrageous. It just feels like you're just kind of going along for the story, and and everything doesn't feel kind of.
No part feels like they just did that for a laugh.
Exactly.
Like in Coming to America when the lion farts, or you know what I mean? Like that seems like, oh, we need a fart joke.
I mean, there's also a fart joke in part one too, I think.
Yeah, but it was a homeless guy that fell down the stairs and in their busted ass apartment, and then he just farted like after, that okay, it's a fart joke, but at least it doesn't seem like, come on, that lion that farted, like that didn't.
Yeah, you know what part? I'll say this: Coming to America, the sequel has some good parts, and I do like where they went with it, but I feel like as a whole, it needed some more like gravitas. I felt like it was like, I feel like the beginning and the middle gets kind of like a little weak, but then it gets a little bit better towards the end. So they do a lot of there's like a lot of pieces that I do like about it. But I think it's always a tough act to try to follow up a movie 33 years later. And I feel like it was just kind of like, something for fans to kind of like see everybody back again. Like the amount of people that returned.
Yeah, that's the best
was
part.
kind of like awesome. Like I think.
Oh my God, they got everybody. If you're alive, they got you pretty good.
Yeah, and most people were alive. I think the only person who really passed away was the mother. She's the only one who passed away from what I remember.
She's probably the only one that didn't reprise the role, and I guess Samuel L. Jackson's character is probably in jail.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, probably. And I think they wanted to get him, but he just was, I think, preoccupied probably like
Cuban Gooding Jr.
Well, he's in trouble now, so he probably is like, he's too hot. That would have been funny.
But no, okay. So coming to America, I feel like there's only 2 or 3 good things in the movie. Okay, first good thing, Wesley Snipes, I think, is good. I think he to me is the only one who is. And I heard things like he was blackballed from acting.
I'm sure he was,
something like that. So he looked like he was just so thrilled to be on there. Like he was so into his character and his role that I think that it was, I think he was fun. He was genuinely kind of like funny to me.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Snipes is an amazing actor. Guy is amazing.
Well, all right, I don't know about all that.
He's not. You don't think he's an amazing actor? Come on, bro.
Wesley Snipes?
Yes.
I don't know. What, Demolition Man? I'm trying to think of movies.
he was crazy in Demolition Man.
I never seen Blade, so I never seen Blade.
You never seen Blade? Whoa.
So
wow, you're missing out, bro. He's really good. I think you would like Blade.
Maybe.
You would.
I'll wait for the new one. Anyway. What? It has Marciala.
He's gonna be good, but I'm saying you definitely should watch, Blade.
It might be too dated for me.
No. Anyway. I saw it recently. I saw it again recently. It's actually pretty good.
Yeah, but you like everything. So anyway,
I don't like everything. No, that's not true.
It's harder to find a movie you don't like.
That's not true.
That is very true.
Give me an
So
example.
anyway, I don't know. I can't think of movies you don't like. That's what I'm saying.
There's a lot of movies I don't like.
Yeah, like.
Let me see. Give me a second. Hold on. Because I know we definitely had different tastes.
I know you do. I know there's movies you don't like.
Hold on. Let me see. What movies that you like that I didn't like? All right, we'll be here all day. All right.
Well, yeah.
When I think about it, I'll let you know.
But wait, so the second good thing in coming to America, and this is very shallow, but the character, the person that plays his oldest daughter is beautiful.
Yeah,
she's gorgeous. Oh my gosh. I said, who is this dark skin just picture of perfection here? I just, even though I don't know, I couldn't care less for the character and all whatever. I was just like, man, she's gorgeous.
Look good too. Even the hairdresser, the barber,
she looked
good. Yo, bro, she looked good too. Like I was like,
yeah, nice boobs. Anyway, let's bring this back to not being male chauvinist. Whatever. The weakest thing, I think I don't know who he is, but the son to me. First of all, here's the first thing. Wouldn't the first thing you do get like a paternity test? It's possible, especially with the way the mother was asking. Like, oh, you could be the.
Yeah, they kind of glossed over that.
They really glossed. Like they just said, there he is. That must be him. But the actor to me, he couldn't. I think the son needed to have more charisma. Like he needed to be what Eddie Murphy was going to Africa as Eddie Murphy was coming to America. So I know I'm not asking him to be like Eddie Murphy's character, but when he came over and then the movie kind of focused on his journey, I felt nothing from him. He wasn't funny. He didn't grab me.
Eddie Murphy.
That's asking a lot for a first guy, but but he didn't have to do that, but he had to have something, and he didn't have it. He was a weak part for me.
Yeah, I definitely felt like he was kind of weak. I didn't really feel anything from him in the beginning, but I did feel like towards the end, I liked him a lot more, especially when he had something to kind of work with, when he started falling in love with the hairdresser. I felt like
that, and to me, that felt so placed. Like it didn't feel earned to me. She cut his hair once, then they had another scene, and it was like, okay, that's it. And now,
I mean, I guess with all the changes, like I guess what they're trying to imply, and maybe it didn't come off on the screen well, but I think what they're trying to imply is that because they spent so much real time together, they got to know each other. But you know what? I would say it's kind of silly.
Can't do that in a movie and ask us to buy that they're having a relationship.
I will say that when he was with Tiana Taylor, and then he asked her, "What do you like?" Kind of like the same thing, like in part one, he said, "Whatever you like." I felt like he didn't give her a fair shake either, because I'm like, well, you just met her once. Maybe if you give her some time to kind of like really get to know her, maybe she's just saying this for now, and maybe there's more down the line. And I think, I understand where they're going with it, like, narratively, but it's just like, I don't know. But I did like that he made his own decision, and then it wasn't like, okay, he's just gonna become king and rule over whatever.
It was a little too.
But let me ask you a question: do you think they could have gotten like another comedian to do it? Because I think passing to play his role. Because I feel like they got a newcomer.
The son,
yeah. I'm trying to think.
They didn't even. I don't know what they needed. They just needed. I felt like either, and the more I think about it. A, he didn't have charisma, and B, once again, it's what they give you to work with. I don't know. Maybe they didn't give him good. Like at first, I actually thought he was good in the beginning. Like in the very beginning, he's on that interview.
Yeah.
And Tracy Morgan. I thought that was kind of funny, like that dynamic and him talking. Like, and I'd say, okay, we got a strong, headed young man kind of character. Then he just kind of goes to selling his things, and then things happen, and then he's just kind of there, and then you kind of everything he did was very expected. Like he didn't surprise me as a character. He didn't, I didn't feel anything from him, other than okay, I really like you. I'm gonna go with you.
I mean, I did like this arc where he was like, trying to be really hard to be like Eddie Murphy, and then after that, he just decided to become himself. Like, you know what? Let me just be the guy from Queens. Let me not, try to imitate this guy who I barely know and this king of, Zamunda. Let me just be the man from Queens. So I think that I like that aspect as well. But you know what I think would benefit? I feel like there's a lot of stuff crammed into this movie that they just didn't have time to really flesh out to make, in a viewable time frame. Honestly, I think, with the way everything was framed, I think they should have made it into like a mini series or something like that. It would have benefited for like at least 10 episodes or something like that. Because I
it
feel
was
like
a miniseries. I mean, there was an episode. There was
a
a
pilot,
show pilot, right?
Tommy
And I
Davidson.
think it was really bad.
Yeah,
Like,
it was they only had the guy. I forgot. I don't know his name, but the guy who was always announcing the king. That he was there, and then Tommy Davidson. Tommy Davidson's funny, but I've seen some of that show, and I think they only had one pilot anyway.
There was only one, and
yeah, so it was just like, But
it was just like,
I think it would benefit because I think you had mentioned something like last time we had the podcast. You had mentioned like it kind of feels like a kids movie or something like that.
And well, it is because it's PG-13 and the original's rated R. Yeah. So in the original, they're yelling, "Fuck you," and he's like, "Fuck you too," like because you know what I mean. Yeah. It's like and it's just a little more raunchy. Like you see some.
And then this one you have like the kids, like you know what it really made me feel like it was a kid show. It made me feel like it felt like a Nickelodeon show at the end when they had the fight scene. Because and
it felt like no impact in that fight. It felt like
you guys
no one felt threatened. Yeah, I didn't know. Yeah. I'm like, okay.
I thought it was a dope setup to set up like Izzy fighting, her, and I thought it was gonna be like a really dope fight because in the first movie they had a couple of like dope scenes, in the first training montage between Arsenio Hall and using the sticks, and then later on when the robber comes, he uses sticks against the robber. That was like a cool scene. So I'm thinking like with Izzy, General Izzy, and the daughter. The eldest daughter, they're gonna have like at least a decent fight, like
or something like, realistic, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. But then when I saw the kids coming in and they do
and then like, it was goofy and
they do like the pot shots and the balls, like okay, here we go.
it was clearly very much a PG-13 movie.
Yeah, so that part maybe just kind of
the first one. And that's why I was kind of like, oh, they're really doing this, like this fight scene's happening.
But you know what it is.
Wait. And I was gonna say one of the themes. This is where I kind of got disinterested because they had a theme they were doing for it, but they really didn't focus on it until kind of the end. To me, you knew the way they framed it. Oh, he's looking for his son, but his daughter is very capable, right? Because the whole movie, it was like, oh, the daughter is never getting a chance to speak or anything. He's so worried about finding his son. And so I was like,
yeah, you saw where.
And he only had 3 girls, right? So that's gonna play. And I think they should either focused on that a little more because I felt like his daughters, except for the fight scene and stuff, didn't really have that much to do. In the movie,
I you know what the movie was missing? I think it was missing a lot of like important character moments.
It was
like,
missing for example, heart.
Exactly. I got, for example, like Eddie Murphy's wife, Prince Akeem's wife. I felt like she didn't really speak until they had like an argument in the movie. I felt like in the beginning she should have like had maybe something to really say, or you should have seen the interaction between them. You know what I mean? To kind of like
got her back, guys. That's all they needed to do.
Yeah, exactly. And I felt like it was like she was just kind of like dressing, like especially for someone that he really chased after, and you kind of like grew to like really appreciate during the movie. She should have had at least a say like in the beginning, so that way you can kind of establish something there.
Kind of there, right? Like
for in the beginning,
that was so sought after in the first movie, for her to be this much of a background character, it was kind of.
I mean, I know in real life, people, like after a while, you're responsible for 30 years or whatever like that. But I felt like at least one interaction with them together and like at least solidifying that they're together. Like it just felt like it was all about Eddie Murphy. I keep calling him the actor's name, but all about like Prince Akeem. And not really focused on them being together. I thought that was kind of weird. And then I think she didn't really get like a solid speaking part until like they had a disagreement, and that's when she kind of started talking. I'm like, that's how you introduce her after 33 years. That's why I say, how dare you do that? You know what I mean? Like it's just like kind of weird.
And then she was mad, and he had to make her happy again. That was like his arc.
Yeah. So I'm like, so that's the first scene you show of her after all this time? Like, come on.
Yeah, it was not. I won't be watching it again. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. What else is out there? tomorrow. Oh, WandaVision. Have you watched that?
I did.
You watched all of it?
I did.
Okay, what do you think?
I have a lot to think about, I guess.
Want to do a separate cast on that?
Quick. No, I mean I can just give my quick thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
It was like if going up is my feeling of how much I like it, it was kind of like this. It was
Mm-hmm.
always a wavy line that went up and then crashed at the end to me. I really like especially if you watch old sitcoms and things, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty cool. The whole going through the eras and trying to figure what show are they making fun of, like Full House or whatever. Of course, it'd be like Full House, right?
I mean, honestly, I don't think none of them made fun of Full House.
Whichever one, the one whenever it was like 90s, before the Malcolm in the Middle one.
So I think that was the 80s, and I think that was
no, Malcolm in the Middle was 2000s.
Yeah.
Then there was one episode. It's the second episode after they came in color, not the first colored episode, but it's like episode.
No, but that's Family Ties. I think they were referencing, not Full House.
It felt like Ties. Full House to me. Whichever, the one where the twins are
Family Ties. I think
they're like not fully grown, but they're whatever.
That's Family Ties.
So then one's like
and then before that, the Brady Bunch. So it's pretty much like I Love Lucy. Then I Love Lucy / Bewitched, or not I Love Lucy, the Dick Van Dyke Show, Bewitched, and then after that it's kind of like the Brady Bunch, and then afterwards it's
I got like not exactly like a full house
this is
I got
80s,
that
90s,
era of television
80s,
vibe,
80s, late 90s, early 90s,
the 90s
sitcoms
vibe, and then so I enjoyed all that. I enjoyed how I'll tell you what I didn't enjoy. I didn't think it was.
Well, tell me what you enjoyed.
Huh? Well, no, this is part of it. How I go into it's a sitcom, but I didn't feel a lot of it was funny. Yeah. I didn't feel like a lot of it didn't make.
Can I interject real quick?
Okay.
I felt I liked what they did, and I liked the references, but I felt sometimes they went a little bit too long. I felt like the whole reference thing. I'm like, okay, like you said, it wasn't funny.
It wasn't
so
funny.
I'm like, if they, I lost interest in the beginning a little bit because I'm just like, I'm all right. I know this is gonna lead to something, but right now, I'm not enjoying these 2 episodes.
Yeah, and that was the thing, right? That was like each episode had a weird thing in it, like that was about the real world or something. So those hooks got me. Those were good. I think the way they did that, it was good. And then you have that out of that episode that deals with the modern time coming in and what happened to this character. But we could get deeper into it, but I think basically what happened, I feel like it was all good. And then they introduced the villain, which is a Marvel comic character, blah, blah, blah. And then it kind of, to me, then it became just another Marvel thing. And that's where I was like, where they were kind of doing like, also in the way, like, I don't know where they're taking the character, but she was responsible for what she was doing to those people, like to some extent.
You mean Wanda?
And
Wanda.
Yeah, and now they kind of like, oh, they'll never forgive me, but all right, let her go. She just goes off, now she's probably she lost her family, so we feel bad, or her fake family, or whatever. I don't know. She can, and now she's super powerful, but like they just had a stupid fight at the end, and I just felt like you didn't have to go that route with it. You were already doing something weird and different that would be different from every other thing, but now it's just like now she's the Scarlet Witch. Oh, spoilers. Now she's and so I don't know. It was good. I wasn't like disappointed. I just felt like I was really hyped into it, and then it kind of went to how you thought it. Like every movie would end, big battle between this character and this character and this character and this character, and good people win, all the bad people lose, and that's it.
Well, I'll say this, like, aside from like, like the comedy stuff, I was more interested in like the real world things, as you mentioned before, like the stuff that happened in the real time, like, with Monica. Like, I think she was a great addition to the franchise. I think the actress was really strong, and her scenes were really
Yeah.
well done.
All right.
And I was kind of hooked in the real world to see how they can solve it. And
The Quicksilver thing.
the Quicksilver thing, that thing got on my nerves so much. The first time I saw it, I
I
was so
was
hyped.
okay.
I was
So
like, I remember I was, eating food, eating some chicken and everything, like eating like, my wings or whatever while I'm watching the show. After that, as soon as he came on the screen, I'm like, oh my God,
and
they're doing it. They're doing it now. This is they're doing a crossover. And I thought that was so dope. But then at the last episode, spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't watched it, but the last episode, when they reveal like he was just a freaking actor, I was just like, you got to be kidding me.
well, the thing about it that was to me is even in my head, I was like, okay, maybe they're not doing the because it was at the point when he first appeared, there was still a lot of mystery. We didn't know
Yeah,
what was going
exactly. I
on.
thought it was a trick.
So,
Mhm.
so when he appeared in my head, I didn't say, "Oh, they're going to introduce the X-Men," but I said this would be a freaking genius way to bring that character back without the issues of the other one, and it could just be some weird anomaly that he just kind of exists now in this world. But like then you said, then they went back, and now it's not the case. Like to me, they had an incredible chance to do something with that, and then they didn't. They
Yeah.
just they they went the worst possible
They
route
went the
of
Iron
making
Man
it
three
nothing.
way.
Well, I like Iron Man 3 more than you do.
I hate Iron. See, that's the movie I don't like. Iron Man 3. I hate that movie.
Well, yeah,
There
no.
we go. But
Ah.
you know what it is? Even if he wasn't the real, I mean, I think we all kind of figured he wasn't the real Quicksilver. But maybe like if you heard a reason, like maybe she just plucked him out of another dimension or something like that. So in the
That's what I'm
similar,
saying. It
they
could
should have like worked with that. But instead of making him like an actor and who had the same powers as he did and stuff like that, I'm like, come on.
because he was talking about the memories and things like that. So I'm like, just and sometimes even like Marvel comics sometimes are like fourth wall breaking and make it a weird thing that's not really. It doesn't even have to be explained. But if he just happened to be, because another thing is the other quick like part of that joke too was people were comparing both of the characters at the time when the movies come out, and nobody liked the one from the Avengers, but everybody liked the. So it would have just been.
He had better scenes, and it's funny too. To even add to the comparison, they're both in Kick Ass, so it's just like
Well, Aaron Taylor,
yeah,
whatever.
he was Kick Ass, and then he was the
Yeah,
best
and
friend in Kick Ass.
but he was. I feel like as Quicksilver, he was just. It's not even just his action scenes. He just. I didn't like.
Who are you talking
him.
about?
The Avenger one. I didn't like.
Yeah, he was kind of dull a little bit.
Dull, and it could have been. Yeah, and
but
even
just
his acting too was not.
His acting wasn't that great, but the one from the X-Men, like his scenes are so memorable. They actually the only reason why I like watching those movies sometimes is because those scenes are just so clever, and it's just like there's so much thought put into them. They look so.
I thought it was good the first time. Second one was a little like I expected it.
Yeah, but sometimes like you can't hit both twice.
Huh? That movie sucked.
It sucked, yeah, but that's the only thing I liked. It was like those Quicksilver scenes, you know what I mean? Like they were just really fun. But yeah, I was kind of expecting to see the original Quicksilver show up. I don't know why they haven't like brought him back in any capacity, because it would have been nice to see like just like something,
No, I just feel like what they did was exactly what they should have did. I just feel like where they went with it and the explanation of it now just says, well, any other cool ideas that we have for this, now we know just aren't going to happen. So if they happen to have another Quicksilver, it's probably going to be another actor completely if they ever go that way. Or eventually I feel like they got to bring in that character at some point. Maybe the son.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll probably recast the character anyway. By the time they get the X-Men running in the MCU, it's going to be enough time where they're going to find another, younger Quicksilver. But tomorrow, Falcon and the Winter Soldier is on.
So yeah, I might give that a little while before I watch it. I don't watch Wanda until like maybe 4 or 5 episodes were available, so I might wait a bit.
Okay.
To see that. And I have no high hopes for it, which makes it, I have no expectations really going into it. Like those are 2 characters that I did not care about in any of these movies. So, surprised me.
Yeah, I'm actually interested. I'm intrigued, because not that I really care that much for either Bucky or Falcon, but I'm intrigued to see where they go with the storyline in terms of like introducing like a Black Captain America, because I feel like a lot of stuff, like stuff that we will come into play in this series that they normally don't really tackle in the main movies. You know what I mean? So there is like a lot of elements that I'm excited to see how they actually work it in. So I'm hoping that
If
they
they
can
go
actually
that route.
like nail hit the nail on the head, and it doesn't feel anything that feels like kind of like cringe or groany. You know what I mean? Like I feel like I'm interested in seeing how they can really tackle these issues.
Hmm. We'll see. I don't know if they'll go that route.
I'll let you know.
No, I'll watch it. Don't worry. Yeah. So movie madness.
Movie madness. Yeah, the video game podcast where we did talk about video games. So
Yeah, we talk about whatever.
yeah. So that's it. This
This
episode
is.
is mostly about movies and entertainment. I liked it.
Oh, are we done?
Yeah, we're done. It's about
Oh, you want to talk about that Evo thing?
we'll do it next time.
Oh. Okay.
All right. So if you guys like this video, please give us a thumbs up and like and subscribe and comment down below if you like more of our movie talk. We'll do a lot more. This is just like a kind of like a sampling of our taste in movies. And thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe, share, and we'll appreciate it. So this is Steve.
This is Sterl.
And we're the 8BG, 8-Bit Generation. This is the 8BGCast, and we are out.
Bye.
Have a great day, everybody.